Заставка Ютуба.
Мгм.
Он мне, кстати, Grammarly деньги вернут.
Да?
Да, пообещали.
О,
В
это
течение недели.
прям очень хорошо.
И уже выключили мне этот.
Все, я размещаю линк.
Да еще ж 3 минуты.
А они пока не потянутся.
Мы уже лайв?
Да?
Я же еще даже богрич не сделал.
Выключи.
Не, ну еще надо готовиться. Картошка не готовая.
Вставишь. Сейчас это я отправила. Сейчас тут вырублю звук. И вот это и ты.
Вот это задержка.
Угу. Не обращай внимания. Это мы присоединились.
Чат открой. Там.
А, тут.
Открыт.
Вот.
Открыт. Просто убери с...
Не.
Вот так вот чат будет.
Ага. Hello. Let me know if you hear me. Someone, please let me know. Great. Hi. Just give me 2 more minutes so that more people join us.
Hey, I'm the special guest. That was a surprise, I suppose.
Hi. Just 1 more minute and we start. Yay, hi. Seven people already.
I actually did that for the first time in my life, so that is so awkward.
I'm doing it for the second time in my life, so it's okay. So, it's 7 p.m. GMT, and let's start. So today is a special live stream because we have a special guest. This is Evgeny, Zhenya, or Eugene, or whatever. Yeah, he is the keyboardist and the founder of the band Ignea. He is also the composer and the guy with the longest hair in Ignea.
In Ukraine, maybe, probably.
Maybe, probably.
Not
Well,
already.
we cannot tell for sure, but yeah. So I've just decided to bring him today to the live stream because this live stream will be more about Ignea and our plans for the album and just chatting and stuff. Yeah. Hello, everyone. So I decided to start this chat from Evgeny telling us how did you come with Ignea band? Why did you do this?
I didn't actually. It went that way by itself. Well, actually, you know, when you're starting to play any musical instrument, you're getting to the point when you're dreaming about playing in playing in a band, big crowds or small crowds, smoky clubs, giant venues, stadiums, and all this stuff. Well, you may imagine that. So that was as well true for me. I just started playing a bit of piano and keyboards at home, and maybe in a year or two after that, I already started searching for a band.
And
And I found one Yeah, it wasn't mine. Yeah, so we played some kind of folk power metal.
Hairy music.
Yeah, very much. Yeah, and after doing that, after playing two songs maybe for 2 years, me and the other guitarist just went off to do something else, and probably this is how my personal movement towards my, I don't know, personal band at that moment started.
When was it? I mean, the
I
year?
think it was 2007. Yeah, 12 years ago.
Oh my god.
Yes, it was a long time ago. Yeah, after some attempts to play like a more exciting version of folk power metal.
You see, someone loves. Yeah, Joe loves folk power metal, so
Yeah, okay.
bring it back.
I have a full complete album in Guitar Pro tabs from that era.
So
So
maybe
maybe
side
some
side project.
MIDI metal, like tabs only metal, maybe,
Well, you
probably.
know, there is like music for the games, like Nintendo, or how do you call
Yeah.
it? Like,
Well, actually, MIDI metal is more like, I don't know, transport tycoon kind of stuff, or even maybe Minecraft. Yeah. Okay.
soundtrack for
Yeah.
Minecraft.
By the way, that album is very.
Yeah, 8-bit metal.
Yeah, more
Yeah.
or less. Yeah, actually, that album is quite serious. It's based off a book. It's a conceptual album. It's about vampires living in Transcarpathia, which at that moment was a part of Hungary. So there's a lot of Hungary vampires, roses, and Ukrainians, I guess. Yeah.
I
Well,
haven't heard this
no,
album.
you didn't.
Why?
I have no idea. By the way, I have all the tabs with me. Ah, no, I don't. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, but
But
if at some point we have no songs for Igne,
not gonna happen. No.
so
Okay,
it's a
so
good like stimulation for you to write songs for Igne.
yes. Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
because it's too happy. I don't know. It's about death and vampires and all gothic stuff, and it's happy. And the concept was that good by idea that were started. I think I have started at that point because the other guitarist guy has separated itself. He has his own band now. He already played with one of the biggest Ukrainian artists. You didn't hear about him.
Not metal
Not
artists.
metal artists. Yeah, he has his own power metal band, but it's called Dominators.
Yeah, you can check them out on YouTube.
Yeah,
I guess they have some recordings and they have
they have a full length album.
yeah,
It's
and they
quite good.
have quite a powerful vocalist. So I will mention it like on Patreon in the post about the live stream.
Yeah. So
Hi.
uh, after he went away, I started to rethink it all into kind of old school gothic doom metal, maybe something like early Moonspell. Not that happy as power metal, you know.
You started growing up, so happiness
Yeah.
went away.
Yes. Yeah, because I just started my study in the university at that point, so no more fun. Yeah. Yeah, and at that point, I found the first guitar player that uh, was like a starting point for Igna, I guess. Yeah, and after that, we started trying other musicians. We're changed like I think 20-25 musicians to this point before we
Are you sure?
yes.
Okay.
Yes. Before we all connected, just clicked together. Actually, on the Sputnik EP, if anyone has it or already ordered the reissue, there are two lists, and the first one, the bigger one, is all ex-members of any previous
Generations.
band names that became Igna. So we just started the band at that point. I think it was called Vita es Dolor, which means life is grief in Latin. Again, Latin.
So you played doom metal.
Yeah.
Okay.
It should have been doom metal initially, but something odd happened. So if you listen to first Moonspell records, which were like a reference to me because I like them very much up until this moment, they all have been re-released in 2006, I believe, as Under Satane album, but actually it's two demos, two singles, and one EP, and they all are kind of gothic doom metal. You may think about Moonspell, but those songs had something common between them. They all had like Andalus elements, and well, Andalus music is basically Arabic music.
Like
so,
Middle Eastern or
yeah,
Oriental.
it was in Spain, in Portugal, but it's sounding Arabic. And these elements naturally have started to occur in Vita es Dolor music at that point. After changing a few musicians, we also changed the name to Parallax before releasing, not before releasing the EP, before Finding Hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, before Finding
There was
You.
actually a male vocalist before
Yeah,
me.
there were like maybe 5 vocalists at that point. Some of them had a few interesting bands. For example, Yarogor, he had two pretty exciting bands mixing post-Soviet tyrma,
Jail.
post-Soviet jail romantics with beat down
Jail
music.
romantics.
Yes,
What?
with beat down hardcore, and now he is a rap guy, rap artist. He is pretty good actually.
Are there any recordings with the previous vocalist?
Yes,
Yes.
a couple of demos.
I haven't heard them.
Not
as
not
well.
that one. After that, there was Andrew, who is now vocalist in quite an exciting band,
Yeah.
a doom death metal band called Vindemiatrix.
Yeah, he has very cool vocals, but he has like deep male vocals,
Yeah.
clean vocals, and growls like
Yeah,
very
and
deep.
in my opinion, one of the best male growls in Ukraine.
Yeah, I
And
will mention his band in
he
the post
also
as well.
he also sings in the No band at this
Yeah.
moment. That's a black metal band. They are actually quite good as well. Well, he has a taste, so that is why he quit.
Come on.
Yeah,
I actually
guess.
don't know why.
Because
just-
they started to make their own debut album, and that was pretty serious at that point. Yeah, so after that we became Parallax. I just needed a simpler, shorter name, and I just opened an old Russian encyclopedia for kids about space. Yeah, and just did this. Parallax. Okay.
It's just a hint. If you want to have a name for your band, just open a book and.
Yeah, in 2019, I guess you can just open Wikipedia and just press random page.
It's not a good way because
Okay.
you will get lost in Wikipedia.
Yeah,
That's
of course,
it, like
but
link
that
after
is
link.
that is the way if you're a gent kid, you know.
Yeah.
Okay, and after the name, at that point, Andrew was still the vocalist in the band, like his final days. And I've met Hill, and at some point, I just had an idea to record a demo with female clean backing
Vocals.
vocals. Yeah, and that went pretty good, actually.
Actually,
Yeah,
it was horrible. When I now hear, like, I
yeah,
was off the pitch all the time,
yeah.
and it was
It
just, oh
went
my God.
pretty good because we couldn't into music, you know, at that point. We couldn't
Yeah,
like
yeah. We
sing,
were
play,
all
listen,
too
and all this
bad.
stuff. Yeah, but at that point, Andrew pretty much at that point he just left the band, and I was like sitting mixing some demos and just put Hell's vocal up like to the point it starts to sound like main vocals, and it just worked. So it was a bit high at that moment. I mean, that part was okay, but other parts uh, were high. So
They
when we
were
started,
like the all the music was written for the male vocalist and for lower vocals. I
yeah,
couldn't hit those low vocals, so I had to sing high, and it was too high.
yeah,
So, I mean, it was absolutely not for my voice.
yeah, and at that point we just dropped all the tunings down 5 steps, five half tones.
So we have drop A
Yeah,
now.
so now the tuning is drop A, and the band has like totally started. So at that point we had no drama because one of the drummers left. We had Hell finally. We had two guitarists, uh, old guitarists. No one from them still play in Igna, and the bass player who already was Alexander, who actually came to the band as a guitar player
Yeah,
initially.
initially he played the guitar, but
Yeah, and
he
I
chose
think
another way.
I think in a year we went to Max Morton's studio and just
Actually, he didn't want to record anything. He didn't want. I just
yeah,
said,
I wanted to play shows, you know.
no, you just said that he will come back. He just said that his music was not good enough, so he doesn't want to record it, especially at such a good sound producer as Max Martin, with whom we've recorded all the albums so far. But I insisted. I found the money, and
And the soup is ready.
so we're finishing the live stream because our soup is ready.
Not exactly.
Sorry. So coming back, I guess I will answer to a couple of questions right here,
Yeah.
and we will get back to the story. Okay. So, are there any recordings with the previous vocalist? Yes,
Yes.
and I'm really interested to hear them, and if they are not as
Actually, there are some records with me as vocalist.
I've heard that I've heard.
Oh,
That's cool.
No,
I
no,
mean,
no,
I
no.
just have an idea that we could share some of the demos later on, maybe in March or April,
Yeah.
on Patreon. I guess it will be very, very funny for
I
everyone.
will mute the vocals.
No, but please don't share them with anyone on the web. Maybe you can show them to your friends, but please don't post
Yeah.
them anywhere.
But there are some pretty good songs out there.
Yeah, so-
they are primitive, but they do work
I guess
in some extent.
I guess we could use them later on.
I already stole some riffs from there, so
It's
no.
good when you steal riffs from yourself. So, what made you change band's name from Parallax to Ignea? It will be later on in the story. Funny thing is that one of my old schoolmates is in a band called the Parallax Method. So yeah, Parallax is pretty popular as a band's name or just a part of the band's name. It's
That will be as well
Yeah.
a bit later.
Um, blah blah blah. At the end of Sputnik song sounds some like an 8-bit video game sound. It's of any video game. So, yeah.
No,
No,
no, the end, not the intro.
the end. The
Yeah,
fifth track. You mean like the fifth song?
nah, the end of Sputnik song. Yeah,
Ah,
it sounds like an 8-bit thingy because it is actually 8-bit. There is a kind of effect or plugin, if you can call it, called Bit Crusher, and it just downgrades your sound you give to it to 8 or even less bits. So it is actually 8-bit. Yeah.
yeah. So I guess all the questions are answered. So getting back to the story, we've recorded and released Sputnik on our own, like totally independently, and we had absolutely no idea how to handle any label stuff, and we had no idea about the music industry. So, for example, we've prepared massive promo kits, you know, like physical promo kits, with all like with the demo CD, with band biography, with a photo, and I sent all those promo kits to labels.
We have one left actually.
Yeah,
We can
it's at
photo
home.
it.
I will take a picture of that. It looks pretty cool actually. As I think it's a childish thing, but
It doesn't work at all.
yeah, it doesn't work. And actually, like later on, we found out like that none of the labels check out this promo kits anymore because they're just throwing them to the trash bin. So it doesn't make any sense. But we received actually a physical reply from Nuclear Blast, like the top major metal label in the world, I believe. And can you imagine, like, we're staying in Kiev, in Ukraine, and we're like poor students, and we receive like a letter from Nuclear Blast telling that they don't sign any bands anymore at the moment, and they just asked us to keep them updated. So that was the only answer we received. But
Do we keep them updated? No.
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 Well, yes, actually, through our management, but anyways, it's all upside down now in the music industry. But back then, we had like, you know,
Dreams.
we had dreams, we had glasses, like how do you call this, rose glasses, pink glasses. Yeah, so it doesn't work like that. But in any case, we had like the first show in Kiev, and at that show I heard nothing on stage because we didn't know anything, not only about the music industry but also about performing on stage. And I was off pitch like the whole show, and even though like the audience was very good, when I heard the recording, I was crying all the day long.
I was crying.
Yeah, so
Maybe a
it
minute
was
or two.
horrible, and I just didn't know how to do it on stage. You know, you think that you hear something, but you don't, and you go off the pitch, and blah blah blah.
Yeah, it was a disaster. We actually have a video of that, like a full video, but
Yeah,
nobody
we didn't
nobody
post it anywhere,
watches
and
it.
we won't because like
We won't even watch it ourselves. So
yeah, so it's too sad, but you know, it happens mostly with all of the bands at their start. So, yeah. Back then, actually, we both were singing in the band. I was singing clean vocals, and Evgeny was growling. And it was on the first album as well, on the Sputnik album.
yeah, it's so cringy.
It's not cringy, actually. You have like deep growls, they sound cool,
But not
like,
in the context of this music, I guess. Yeah, they suit more of a
They
death
suit
metal,
Sputnik.
old school death metal
but
kind
they
of.
suit Sputnik, you know.
I don't know.
So
I guess so.
I guess so.
I guess so.
Yeah. So then, I don't know, we played some shows in Ukraine. And that's it. We started writing like new music, getting more experience with everything that's happening in the music industry. And like Evgeny writes all the songs, and like the music and the lyrics and everything, it started changing. And if Sputnik was like almost like everything was about space, and it was like with more synth sound, he just went to the symphonic metal.
No, it
Symphonic.
wasn't synth. It was more like industrial prog metal with some symphonic stuff here and there. Because, for
Yeah.
example, Planet War is completely
Yeah,
symphonic.
Planet War, yes, but still, like you started to make more Middle Eastern elements
Yeah.
and symphonic elements, and we just felt that the music was changing. And at some point, like we had this song Alga, and we didn't plan to make a video with that at all because we had no experience with videos whatsoever. And just one of our acquaintances heard this demo, and he said that he liked the song, and he offered us to make a video with an orchestra,
Not
like
a video,
to play
only
with
recording.
to record it with an to record it with an orchestra. And at the end we thought that we should capture this moment because it was like you know, sometimes you have only one chance like that. So we decided to make a recording. We had no experience with shooting videos at all. We had no directors. I just managed it all. I hired guys who were the operators, or how do you, video operators, like cameramen, and they hi Steve. Hi. So yeah, we recorded this video without any experience, and at the same time it became the most popular video of ours. It is
Why?
absolutely bizarre. We hate it because like it's childish as well, but so many people love it, so we can do nothing about that.
Yeah.
We just can do better videos.
And at that moment, we have changed the name.
Yeah, and that is the point. When we like with Alga and with the album, we already had like all the songs for the album. There
Well,
were
almost all.
We released Alga in November, and the album was released in February. But we had all the recordings, we had all the songs on our list, and actually they were so much different.
Last Chosen by You was written.
Not
when
written, I mean recorded. You have the list.
Written. It was written right after we started to record everything. We dropped out one song, and then came in the Last Chosen by You. Yeah, I remember that.
Anyways, we just saw that we're going more serious with the band, and the problem was that there were over 60 bands called Parallax at that moment. Is just what we could find on the web. So, and there were a couple of metal bands called Parallax, so that were pretty much popular at that moment. So we just decided to come up with another name that would be more unique. So if you put it on Google, it's not that hard to find the band, and that it would fit more to the new music we had. I don't remember how we came with Igne. You came with Igne.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't remember how. I just started to explore my own ideas of naming things, you know? That's all.
So yeah, this is how we became Igne, and now actually we cannot even imagine to have our band called Parallax
Or VTS Dollar.
or Vites. I cannot imagine that. I wasn't at the band at the moment. So yeah, and that was a pretty good timing for changing the band's name because we hadn't have a fan base. Yeah, thanks. We didn't have a big fan base, so we were like a new band, you know, Igne, and then some people discovered that we also had Sputnik released before as Parallax.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is how the things happened pretty much with the band, but it was a long road. Does Igne mean anything, or is it just a random word? It
Yes.
actually means like flaming or burning in Latin, but it refers to a female
Yeah,
how
it's a
you
feminine,
feminine
because
word, like,
masculine would be igneous.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Ignea is like a
Yeah, people
flaming girl, or
people who speak Spanish or Portuguese will understand. It's ignea. It's absolutely the
yeah,
same,
yeah.
actually.
Actually, when we play, I guess when we played in Madrid or Barcelona, they called us Ignea.
Yeah, but it's written a bit differently because I has a thingy about
I
it.
think,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. Well,
We actually have a problem like with the Russian speaking listeners, because they always like call us Ignea, or
for
like
what reason?
Ignea. Why?
Almost everyone, like almost everyone in post-Soviet countries can read Latin because they all have either technical education and they learn Latin, or they have like не техническое образование.
Non-technical education, like
Yeah, linguistics and all the stuff. Like when well, that kind of education where tech savvy guys call you dumb, but you aren't actually. Well, those people also know how to read it. It's igna. Nah, ignea.
even our sound producer Max Morton always says Ignea, even though he knows that we're Ignea. But
Yeah, and after that, one
you
show
see,
host came up
yeah, yeah.
in Kiev, who I think had a kind of Romanian or Moldovan pronunciation, and he called us Izhnya. And after that, we called ourselves Izhnya,
Yeah,
just
yeah.
amongst us.
Yeah, so you see, like Xander says that in the Netherlands, lots of people
No, it's
call
not
us
a problem.
Ignea as well, but it doesn't matter. I mean, already it doesn't matter to us. We were
Het is
more
totaal
offensive back then, so now it doesn't matter.
Het is totaal goed.
Yeah, so that was pretty much the story, and that's why we cannot say how long our band exists, because like when they ask us when did the band start, it's kind of complicated question, but I always say that the active story of the band started in 2013,
13, yeah,
because like this was the year of the first release, and the year when we started like rehearsing and recording everything in the lineup. That is,
we also played the first time in
and the
2013.
first, yeah, and the first show. So yeah,
So it's what, 6 years old?
yeah,
Oh my god.
already 6
Going
years
to
old.
school next year.
Yeah, but the problem is like we pretty much lost 1 year after releasing the Sign of Faith album, because we counted on many shows and touring, and it didn't happen because of the shitty booking agency we had back then. So like in terms of active years, we have like 2 or 3 active years actually. Two.
I think
So-
2014 because of lots of shows, and
2018.
2018, and that's all.
Yeah, because like normally when we don't have any shows, we even don't practice.
Well, you mean lots of shows. I mean, in 14 we had like 6 shows in Ukraine, and until 2018 that was the biggest number ever for us.
Yeah.
And then this actually we now played 49 shows, so the next one will be 50th.
Okay, that would be cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, some bands.
Everything is accounted on setlist.fm. You can just Google Ignea there. And
Okay. Yeah, it would be cool, but I believe that we will just forget about it and miss it.
Probably it's gonna happen in Portugal.
Yeah, you see, in Spanish there is a word igne with accent in the I. Is fire from nature or color of fire.
Yeah, but it's like Ignea, right? I don't know.
Yeah.
You learn Spanish. Try to.
It was
at
like
least.
1 month and I remember nothing. I'm now occupied with Norwegian, so
Okay. like El gato bebe leche. Okay.
So yeah, there are actually later on many bands also contacted me that had similar issues with the same booking agency, and they asked whether we had the same situation. So as we now know, this agency no longer exists, so good for everyone, oh, good for all the bands that they no longer exist. Yeah.
Yeah.
So maybe just a bit about our plans. Currently, we're actually at the summer house of my parents. My parents are in the city now, and we've occupied this house for 1 week, and we have no car, so it's hard for us to go somewhere from here. And it was like intentional for us to spend more time on finishing the demos for the next album. And actually, like Evgeny has to work on some arrangements
Yeah, I'm just finishing the Guitar Pro
and
tabs for
guitar pro
the other
tabs
guys.
for the guys. And I have now 4 more songs to finish lyrics for, and like record vocal demos for pretty much all the songs.
Yeah.
Like, and at the
All
moment,
except Queen Dice.
yeah, all except Queen Dice, that will be in the next album for sure. And yeah, for example, today I tried to record 3 songs at once, and it went pretty good. For example, maybe don't laugh. Come on.
Nah, the soup is ready already. It's aging. No.
Aging, like a
It's
good
curing.
whiskey or
Curing, aging.
curing. Yeah, so it went pretty well today, and I have just half a week left, and my goal is to come back to Kiev with all those demos. But I'm also working here, so yeah, pretty much busy.
Yeah. So I have 2 or 3 tabs left for the guys, and then they can start learning stuff. Because, for example, I don't know how to play shit from the next album, because we have everything. This time I only played live the keyboard solos on demos. Everything else is just in piano roll. It's not even MIDI or notes. It's
He just has problems with recalling the music that he wrote.
yeah. I wrote it. I know it. I remember it completely, but I simply can't play it. I don't know how to
You
play
just
it
have to
just
practice
yet.
more,
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all of us do.
Yeah.
So, questions. Were you kind of stuck to that booking agent like with a contract, or could you get rid of it easily? Like we had a half a year contract and half a year passed, and we could just like according to the contract we could just let them know 1 month ahead that we're quitting. And at that moment we were contacted by another booking agency, the Flaming Arts, where we are now at, and we just parted our ways, and that was it. So it was not a problem. Yeah, we're actually also very grateful to have any gigs, any shows, because first of all, like we practice more there, and because of the 2 tours last year, we had we have learned so many things, and how to deal on stage, how to deal on tour, what to do on stage, because sometimes you just try to hear everything and to recall everything, but this is a show and this is a performance, and if you don't practice it you won't be good at
Yeah,
it.
and not only that, I don't know, you just become addicted to all that shit.
Yes.
Yeah, for example,
like in our case, yes.
yeah, for example, I'm just talking about gratefulness of having shows and concerts anywhere. For example, our last festival appearance in Denmark, in Aalborg, was had a pretty negative impact on our finance, so to say.
Like, yeah.
But yeah, we went for that intentionally because
It's like a drug.
yeah, it's a drug.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're not only grateful to the people who come to see you and the teams behind festivals or shows, you also appreciate like the things that are done to you, sometimes even by, I don't know, designers and architects. Because for example, when people make a venue and it's just ideal, I don't know,
Yeah, it's really cool.
you
Or
just
like
want to go there.
candles in the dressing rooms, or I don't know, a teapot in a dressing room. For me,
Yeah.
it's like I will
A
pray for you.
backline lift and ramp for
Yeah.
that, if that matters. Yeah.
Yeah, and just like I love packing for the shows, for the tours, and planning what I'm going to wear. And I'm always writing a long list for all the guys, um, with all the things they should pack with them, because they are like 4 children and they know nothing, and they don't check like the weather of the country they're going to. So I'm like a mom, so I just need to get them prepared for everything.
But
And
you love it.
I love it.
Yeah.
That's like
And
about appreciating stuff. And Yevgeny also like prepares
the technical
the technical
side.
side, like
Yeah.
all those wires and the
Well,
projects.
the production, because for example, like
If you may call it production, like
it is.
Yeah.
Well, if we are going for a tour, for example, I calculate how many batteries, 9-volt batteries we're gonna need, how many AA batteries we're gonna need, how many string changers there's gonna be, because, well, it just works that way if I do that, and I do love to do that. Yeah, and also there is the backstage banter. When you're sitting with a Ryder beer in your hands, with a perfect Danish fish sandwich, and looking out from the window to see an unknown town for you, it's just like, and you're waiting to go on stage. It's just like dreams come true, at least for a day and at least for your own money sometimes. But
yeah. Sometimes you don't have a dressing room at all, or you have 8 bands in one dressing room, and you
But
have
after
no
that-
windows and no Ryder beer. So
but after that, you have something to remember.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay.
I've heard it's really tough getting gigs in certain countries. Anywhere you'd love to go if you could. I guess the toughest place to go for us to play and for many bands to play, even from the European Union, is the US. So
Yeah, but
because it's a huge market, it's hard to get visas. It's very expensive to get visas and permissions and flight tickets, and no one expects you in the US.
yeah,
Like,
but we should go step by step. And for example, our next destination of thoughts is actually the UK, but the problem is actually the same. So
well, it's not
visas,
as expensive because, for
Yeah.
example, I've been to UK a couple of times as a tourist and as like for business things, and the flight tickets were ridiculously
The
low.
cheapest.
Yeah, they
They're
are
actually
so
the cheapest
cheap.
from Ukraine.
But to get like a permission to play there, it's impossible. And for sure, no one waits for bands in the UK because the market is so oversaturated there. So even like big bands from the European Union, they don't get good conditions. And as we know, like the UK is so fucking expensive, like for everyone.
Yeah, and people don't buy
except
merch.
for people from Switzerland, maybe.
Uh,
Yeah.
Yeah, and people don't buy merch. Merch.
Yeah.
Merch. Oh my god.
Yeah, Joe, we were also very happy to play in Belgium. Actually, it was one of the coolest shows. Like
In-
it
at
was
Bebop.
Yeah,
was the last
it was
one.
the last show on tour, and we had lots of pranks with other bands, and like you know that excitement that you have the last show, and you just know that it is the last. You have to do it all to feel
Yeah,
it, yeah, to
and
remember
then
it.
I guess around 4 hours of packing and saying goodbye to everyone on
Yeah,
tour.
and crying and
Almost
all this
everyone,
stuff. Yeah.
except Eugene.
Why?
Eugene, the sound guy.
Ah, yeah. We didn't say goodbye to him because he's from Ukraine. um, mm, 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 mm. For some reason, it's quite difficult for Ukrainian bands to get gigs in the UK. I think it's a problem with visas or something like that. Yeah,
Yes.
with visas, because like we don't need visas for the European Union countries anymore, like for the Schengen zone, but we need visas for the UK. And if you want to go there as a tourist, it's not a problem. Like mostly, but if you want to play shows there and they think that you're working there, and even if you don't get any profit, they think that you're working there, and it's a work permission visa, and you need to have dozens of documents, and sometimes bands get dumped. For example, we know a story of one band from Ukraine that was invited to the Download, I believe,
Yeah.
Download UK, and they had like you know the invitation from the festival and blah blah blah,
From a big
from a
festival,
large festival, yeah, and they didn't get their visas because they didn't have a website and like the embassy thought that it's not a serious band because they don't have a website.
Yeah, but by the way,
but
Stone Jesus don't have a website up until now, but they went to the UK
well,
for a
back
couple of
then,
times.
for some reason, it was a problem, and there
Yeah.
were no rules stating that a band should have a website to get
Well,
a
actually, I
visa.
believe, yeah, that's change. Have been fucked over by it. Actually,
Yeah.
they even had to cancel shows and even a tour, I believe, for even a more ridiculous reason. Because, for example, they got the visa, but they got the visa after they should have been come back from the UK back to Ukraine. That's just outrageous.
And that happens with many other, not only bands. I also know some acquaintances of mine who just applied for business trips to the UK, and they got their visas in a couple of months after all these business trips were just no longer valid. I don't know. Um, mm, mm, mm. So I'll have a chat with some friends who happen to book for festivals and gigs, and I'll see if they're interested.
No,
Thank
thanks.
you. And actually, like you can contact me at any time. I can reply to all the questions, so I know everything, what's happening in the band in terms of management. I'm managing it. Hey Alicia, glad to see you. I would like to know if you during the recording process take the special consideration regarding the sound quality.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's why actually we're working with Max Morden, because he's like, how do you call it? Perfectionist, because like he can remix the song so many times that sometimes I think he would die like mixing one song.
Yeah.
And if you don't stop him, he would do that forever. He's doing that with his like second album for already over 5 or 6 years so
Yeah.
far.
Well, actually,
Yeah.
jokes aside, his studio control room is one of the most perfect in terms of sound in the whole of Ukraine, I believe. He has one of the most expensive monitors on the market, and that pays off for him, I believe. Yeah.
He's
After
actually-
that, he has, I believe, some kind of galvanic system to dissipate all possible hums in the studio. So everything is completely noiseless. Like when you're working on festival, you have like minus 40 decibels of noise level. When you're listening to music at home or playing in a good club, you have minus 80 maybe. Max Morton doesn't have any noise at all. It's like minus 2000, I don't know. Yeah,
Yeah.
and
Sometimes we even have problems with him because the first mixes that we get, they are too clean, you know? You just as if robots record that.
yeah, they are
Uh,
too perfect to be metal. I don't
yeah,
know.
yeah.
That
You know, even like the final versions of our songs, some people say that they're too pop sounding
yeah,
or too clean.
Eurovision.
Eurovision, yeah. Many
Yeah,
people told us, please come to Eurovision after the Alga song,
yeah.
but come on. But in any case, like we always cooperate with him, and sometimes we like make some
Oh,
additions to the mix.
audiophile information. Yeah, Max Morton and one of his friends are working on an audio codec, which will have not like variable bits, but also variable rate. How do you call it? Discretization rate. So it is gonna be like not noisy at all. It should sound like better than 90 something kilohertz and 24 bits and more. So let's wait.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Audiophile.
Audio file. Oh, yeah. Well, actually, Max Morton also works with Ginger, but we were the first to come to him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any more questions? Like, there was a question from Steven, actually. He wasn't able to join our live stream, and he asked Evgeny about the hair. Tell us how you managed to grow such long hair that after each show I have at least one girl coming to me because I'm always
Why not me?
because I'm standing at the merch table always. So
Okay.
every night one girl, at least one girl, comes to me and says, how does he manage to grow such long and beautiful gorgeous hair?
With ease. I just let it grow and do nothing. So I literally brush it once a week before I wash my hair.
Once a week.
Once a week, yeah.
So he has no problems on
Yeah.
tour because he even
No, on tour I have to wash it like twice, not a day, or like once in 2 days, but
yeah, because it's too hot at the venues mostly on
yeah.
stage.
But at home, when I'm just working, going to shops only to hang out or to work, if that happens, it's really once a week, and it sometimes helps.
It's the cheapest shampoo I've ever seen.
No, it's the gift from my mother. She gave it to me because
It's the cheapest shampoo.
yeah, because somebody gave her that shampoo and she didn't want to use it. But
You know, like the perfect stuff for his hair is when you come to hostels, not hotels, but hostels, and you have like those bottles with 2-in-1 or 3-in-1, like shower gel, shampoo, conditioner, body lotion, all in one. So that is the stuff he uses to
no,
wash
I afraid of it.
Come on, no.
No, seriously.
Ah,
I have everything in its own bottle, but they are labeled. Like some kind of marketing idiot labels them, because when you're standing in shower with shampoo all over your eyes, you want to open one eye and see shampoo, conditioner, body wash, and you see what? Like non-gluten, zero sugar, something else, keratin plus. Like what the fuck? It's called shampoo. Yeah, that's the biggest problem.
maybe you should open like produce your line of shampoos.
Oh, actually, in Canada, I believe there is a no brand.
No brand.
Yeah, a brand without a brand. They have yellow labels that just say shampoo, and that's all. I love them already. I never have been to Canada, never ate anything Canadian apart from maple syrup, but I already love that brand.
Might have missed this part of a band story, but were there any bands that were a big inspiration to you? That's a question to you, because
Yes.
you're like Moonspell,
Yes, early Moonspell.
Amorphous.
Amorphous is probably, yes, not that heavily, because you don't see a lot of Amorphous like stuff in Ignea music. Yeah.
Except for their latest album, but we were the first. Again. Because like it has so many Middle Eastern like
Not the last album.
vibes.
They have
Queen
them
of Time.
all over the place.
Yeah, but the
Death of the King.
I guess that the Queen of Time is like the
Ah,
most.
come on! I'm cold after Amorphous song, Perkele, the God of Fire, which was
yeah,
released
yeah.
in 2006, and it is Oriental. So
He has a nickname, Perkele, actually. So
not
this-
exactly. It's already lived into Perkel, something like that. Not
Yeah.
to mix up with Perkelt from Hungarian cuisine, and not to mix up
Yeah.
with Perkele from
So
Finland.
actually, when we're like calling each other, he's Perkel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
But
me.
yeah, it was originated from Amorphous
Perkele.
song from Perkele.
Yeah, it's God of Fire and Perkele, the God of Fire, and
So
there's
it's
gonna
all
be a
about
surprise on the
fire.
new album.
Yeah.
Yeah, everything is turning around fire in my life, I guess.
In my life as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe that's why we're in the band.
Ass on fire, toilet is my desire. Okay, next question. I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I did mention all the bands actually.
Yeah.
So there was a pretty fair bit of Nightwish, I guess. Even in
Not with Daria.
not with Daria. No, I can't listen to that actually, to be honest. Yeah. So, but the some of the symphonic arrangements derived from listening to Nightwish, and lots of things got into Ignea music from the big three of Oriental metal. If you-
Orphan Land.
Mirath and Arkan at that moment.
Yeah.
They don't play Oriental metal anymore. They're turned into something not quite as interesting as they were during their first three albums. But yeah, at some point there were like one of the main Oriental metal bands in the world, and they definitely gave some influence to my music writing.
We will actually, I will like add all these names of the bands to the post. I will update the post with the live stream so that you could find and listen to them, because
Yeah.
they maybe with album titles as well, because like for example Arkan, they had albums that influenced our music, but
Yes.
yeah, lately I'm not sure they're active anymore.
Yeah, they are. They are going to release the fifth album soon.
Okay. The closest
Fifth album.
I've ever heard to your sound is probably Devin Townsend, but then he's got too many styles. For some reason, actually, I hear it
Yes.
pretty much often. And for example, on the last tour, we had two sound engineers. And Lisa, who was the sound engineer for Butcher Babies and Cobra and the Lotus, he always told us like, "You're sounding like Devin Townsend."
She.
She
Yeah.
told
Lisa
us. Yeah.
Affenzeller. Yeah. She told that to us because
She's
is
working with Devin
yeah
Townsend,
he is FOH engineer for like 5 years already.
Yeah,
so
staff
yeah, I know why some people think about that. It is because our music and Devin Townsend's Townsend's music are are located in a kind of a sweet spot between too heavy and too light and too slow and too fast. That actually plays bad for us and him, I believe, because sometimes people don't know how to react properly to that music. But it's
Yeah.
yeah, it's great, obviously. And
Sometimes, yeah.
the other point is that he always employs the last musical technology things into his music. So like he's releasing the album now, and it is fully reamped or amped using an XFX 3. So there are no amps there, and that's the same for Ignea. Actually, on the Sign of Faith album, we had all the guitars are reamped through the Camper, but just with a custom preset made of an Ignator or 5150 head and Ignator cab, and that's all. Everything is digital, and I believe the next album will be absolutely digital as well, with no real amps and no real bass amp. Because
That's
why?
why old school guys hate us. They just hate our sound.
Yeah, yeah.
But you can never make music that everybody loves. So,
Oh, okay. Then the conservatorium guys can hate us because of symphonic orchestra
yeah.
samples on all songs but one.
Yeah. Does that mean that she can get you onto his tour? It doesn't
No,
work
no,
like that at all. And actually, I don't think that we're a good match with him.
no. I don't think so.
You know, like, I even don't think that I would love to tour at this point with large bands like Nightwish or Lacuna Coil or someone like that, because like they are too big. They have too big stages, and we're not ready for that. And at such shows, all the people come for the headliners. So it's so hard on that tour. It would be so hard to play in front of the audience that is just waiting when you finish
We
playing
already
your
did
shit.
that
Yeah. Well, when?
once with Orphan Land,
Yeah, but at the same time, we brought many people to that show in Kiev, and
probably.
they are not as big, as Lacuna Coil or
Yeah,
Nightwish.
sure.
But yeah, for example, with the female fronted metal voices tour, my god, so long. It was just a perfect match because we had small bands and big bands, and it worked really well. But like with Devin Townsend, it wouldn't be good. Can you tell a little bit about your new album? Will it also be a mix of symphonic and oriental metal?
What? Sorry, I was reading another one.
The next album, a mix of
Mm,
symphonic and oriental metal. Yes,
no,
no, maybe.
no, no.
Come, why?
Because there is no symphonic metal there. Yeah,
You know, like
the
we are going to have many unsubscribes now. Please stop.
no, it's just imagine symphonic metal where the orchestral parts are kinda grouped and simplified and played with analog synthesizers instead of orchestras, not samples that are mocking the orchestra, but with their own distinctive synth sound. So there's gonna be a lot of synths. There's gonna be there will be folk elements, of course, like Middle Eastern folk elements, but all these things, synths, they will not make Igna like Amaranth or something like that. So it will be modern metal with folk elements, but that definitely will not sound as Amaranthy or something like that in any way.
In any case, it will be similar to what we do,
Yes.
but in a new way. I don't know. It won't be an absolutely different music. So
Yeah, sure.
yeah.
The same melodicness, the same amount of, I don't know, chuggy riffage.
Yeah, the same like
Chunky.
50-50 clean vocals and extreme vocals.
Yeah, but
So,
maybe a couple of distinctive elements. For example, like in The Sign of Faith, there was How I Hate the Night thing that is not Oriental, not metal, not Ignia at all, but it just fits. The same will be also in the new album, and it just fits.
but it's not an orchestral and vocal lullaby.
Yeah,
It's just different.
it's black metal. I'm serious.
I'm planning to make another trip to Europe next year. Would it be possible to arrange a concert in Kiev if a tourist was able to pay to rent venue? Well, the thing is, like, we do not play mostly in Ukraine now because it just doesn't make sense for us. We will play at one festival this year, one of the largest festivals, and that's it. And
If you come to Kiev, you just
you
drop
can,
us a line. We're
yeah.
gonna make an open rehearsal for that matter. There is no problem in that as
Yeah, we will
at
just
all.
invite you to our practice room and we'll play a couple of songs to you.
And drink a couple of beers
Yeah.
with you. Yeah.
And it's actually an invitation for everyone. So if you ever come to Kiev, it's not a problem. If we are in Kiev, we can do it. But as for the shows, like, it's a pretty complicated question at the moment, and like our plan is to avoid playing in Ukraine and in Kiev in particular for some time until we get like more traction and a bigger fan base, and then we will
And
do.
then it will make sense to make a concert in Kiev because
Yeah,
at this point, like Kiev agglomeration is like 5 million people, but on our show we can gather maybe like 100 people. Yeah, whereas the other bands, for example, our friends from 1914, the band is called that way. They're comparably new, but they're already gathered 500 people on their
well,
concert.
they
So
just toured more in Ukraine, and they
no,
toured. Yes, they
no.
toured. They were a part of the largest festivals for much more times than we did, and they're just musicians that have been involved in other bands
Yeah.
for many years, and many people in Ukraine know them, and whatever they play, and they play great music. It's just they are more experienced and many people are more familiar with them, and they played abroad more, and they released already 2 full-length albums.
Yeah, I just mentioned them as a comparison to us that
Yeah.
it is possible to gather like a reasonable amount of people in Kiev. We just don't do that, and that's all.
Yeah, it's just not the proper timing.
Yeah.
Sorry, I'm just reading the comments. If I go to Germany, where I have been before, or Poland, where I haven't been yet, I wonder if Ignia would perform in those places if a hall is rented. Well, I don't know, like, it also depends on our booking agency because we don't decide on our own. So if you have any like offers, we can just discuss it together with our manager. We're open to everything. And for example, in Poland, we haven't played in Poland yet, but like we're bordering with it, like our country, so we can just hop on the car and get there. It's not.
Well, not exactly because of
Well,
the border. They
yes, but
they
still.
have problems again on the border, but
No,
yeah.
it doesn't matter. And we've played in Germany many times, and actually sometimes we think that we'd gather more people in Germany than in Kiev.
Yeah, I think our sweet spot on the map of the world is Rhein-Ruhr.
Yeah,
Yeah,
in Germany.
we were joking at one time that if we ever do a release party for our second album, it's gonna be hosted in Köln. Yeah, or somewhere around that. Maybe in Oberhausen.
Yeah, so
We'll allow it.
I don't know. It's just every show involves so many things like getting the band travel somewhere.
Backline.
Backline, by the
Yeah.
way, that's also because you can rent a place, you can rent a club in Europe, but it won't have any backline, any amplifiers, any drum
Yeah.
sets,
And we are
nothing.
from Ukraine. We don't have it either. All the clubs in Ukraine have it.
Yeah,
So that's
and like it
vice
would be
versa.
too hard to bring it over the border. It's
Yeah, because
pain in the ass.
you have to pay a half of its cost to the officials to take it through the border.
So it's just if you have any idea, just drop me a message. I will like pass it to our booking manager, or just go to our website. We have like the email of our booking manager there, so everything can be discussed. But if you ever are in Kiev, then just please let us know and come to our rehearsals.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
a nightmare if the band has to supply their own PA.
Yeah,
Like
in continental Europe, you don't need to supply your own PA, I believe. But I know that in some distant countries you should, and that's a huge pain in the ass. Yeah.
Yeah. So, do you have any other questions, maybe, or I don't know. We've been already speaking for
An hour and 10.
70 minutes. 70 minutes.
Our soup is cold already. No, it's perfectly curd.
Curd.
Curd aged.
So just if you have any questions, please drop them now to us, and within a couple of minutes. And if not, then we will be ending this live stream, and I will definitely update the post with the live stream link. Yeah, one last thing. I did pre-order the Sputnik EP. Already have the Sign of Face CD. Will you please sign it? Of course.
Yeah.
So yeah, as I said, I will update the post with the link. You will be able to view the recording if you joined us a bit later, and I will include the names of the bands of the influences.
Not only influences, but the
The
other
bands,
guys'
other
bands.
guys who have been involved
Like
in Igne.
small band related bands history with
Yeah,
even the Escalade, I think. Yeah.
yeah.
Anthony K, who moved to Escalade. No, like brief story of musical side of Igne.
Griefs. You have a lot of
Not grief, brief.
A brief. Okay.
Brief.
Because like I've heard so many times the word grief today about the doom metal and grief.
Are there any simple things your fans can do to help your progress? Yes, just share us with your friends who might be interested in us. And that's the most like useful and crucial part.
Drop them
Yeah.
the link to the Queen Dice video.
Yeah.
Yes, because it still has so few views now compared to like to other videos.
That's a shame.
Yeah, and we actually have a contest now, a giveaway on our Facebook page. So you can just also share the video, and you can just post in the comments what is actually happening in the Queen Dice video. And I really enjoy reading those comments.
Oh, I didn't see any. I will
Check
see.
them out. It's really interesting because like we know that the plot is pretty much, it can be confusing. So
Oh, it's complicated.
it's complicated, and
Yeah.
you can just win a couple of CDs and a T-shirt, and you can just share this contest with your
You
friends.
have forgot one question that was
Which,
in the middle of the stream.
yeah, what?
Tell us something about the new album.
I've already told it.
No, not only sound.
Okay, the new album. It will have like 9 original songs, 1 cover. It will be divided into 3 parts that will be like connected in terms of the plot.
So yeah, Queen Dice will have a continuation
Yes.
of 2 songs.
It doesn't end there.
No.
And What else? If we finish making demos, I believe that we may enter the studio somewhere in summer
Yeah.
and drop a new song somewhere in autumn. And our plan is to release the album in January 2020 or February, like in 1 year. Because the problem is like this year, so many big bands are having albums that we will just get lost there. And we just need
Yeah.
time to make a proper album because the songs are cool. I love them, and we just want to make them
Yeah,
really
and
properly
there
well
is
done. Yeah.
there is a couple of things that make this album a bit more complicated and interesting and harder to achieve a good sound. For example, I want to record all the all the synths I mentioned before. I want to record
Analog.
real analog synths. So I bought the last one. I have a friend who has a lot of them, but his collection lacked one. It's like a simple rock metal string pad thing, and I bought it as a New Year gift for myself. It's an old Soviet synth called Electronica EM25, and it sounds so cringy. Yeah, but it's gonna be lots of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
He's reading the comments. We have a
Yeah.
laptop here where you can view them better than on the screen of a phone. So, I guess the questions are over for tonight. Well done, Evgeny, for your first live stream in your life.
oh my God.
Was it terrible for you?
Thumbs up, little bell ringy thingy, comments, subscriptions, thumbs up. I don't remember all the things.
It's like the live stream for patrons only, so people don't need to subscribe to my YouTube channel.
Oops. Oh, well, subscribe anyway, That one, oh, it's your channel. No, don't subscribe there.
Okay, guys, so good night to you all. Thank you for joining and see you in 1 month. We will have another live stream. No idea, maybe we will have another special guest or we have special songs played by me. Just drop all your requests or ideas in the comments to the post on Patreon.